Welcome, sad boys and punk rock princesses, to the inaugural show of the Moshpit. My name is Michelle, and I am joined here by my co-hosts. Introduce yourselves, guys.
Hey there, I'm Brianne.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelly.
So, we say inaugural show because this is our first show as a podcast, but the Moshpit has actually been around like, what, 10 years, guys?
It's a millennia. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
We've got a rich history.
Yeah, we were we're all friends from college, and we met through the music scene. Me and Brianne were freshmen together, and we bonded on Facebook over like the same music before we started school, because we that's how we met
Facebook
people
generation.
before college, right? And, we became friends. We were in a lot of the same classes because we were in the same major. And Brianne started the Moshpit as a radio show on our college radio station. You started it with a
none
friend.
of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started it with this girl, Margie. She was like, let's do a radio show together. And I'm like, cool. And we ended up having it at like 8 a.m. on Saturdays, which was like the worst as a freshman. Like, it was rough. And of course, the only people who ever heard it were like my parents and then the hungover kids walking home from their one night stands. That's about it. But yeah, no, it was cool. It was nice to have a little foray into the music scene, considering the fact that everyone at Bryant was super preppy and, into top 40 and rap and all that. So it was nice to find a little community that actually liked the music I liked, and that's honestly the basis of our friendship. It was started there. And then Michelle and I had actually met in person in our freshman learning class, which you skipped constantly.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think I knew how to adult, how to be I mean, I didn't, because I almost failed out my freshman year.
Maybe that's why you shouldn't have skipped the classes. Anyways, but yeah, so then eventually my other co-host just kind of stopped showing up and just didn't care, and I was doing all of the work, and I got annoyed, and I was just like, Michelle, do this with me, do this radio show with me.
But I don't think I joined the Moshpit until I think it was sophomore year.
It was sophomore year, because we didn't start it until second semester freshman year.
Okay,
So yeah, it was the following semester when I went to go pick a time slot. I remember she was just like, yeah, I'm not doing this. And I'm like, good, because I don't want you to. No offense. I want someone who's going to help me. And in all honesty, it kind of reversed roles once Michelle joined the team, that she was just so gung-ho and did so much more work than I did. And I was like, this is great. No wonder why she did nothing.
But yeah, no. And then Kelly's a couple years younger than us. And we collected Kelly, me and Brianne basically did.
She didn't really have a choice.
Nope.
But we met at an all-time low show. Very, that's so us.
It's on brand.
Through a mutual friend. And Kelly joined in on the show pretty much, your second semester, right? Of college, Cal?
Yeah, I think so. It was pretty immediate.
Yeah, so, we, like Kelly, I think, said, we have a rich history of the Moshpit. We have been rocking together for a long time, and now we're ready to share the rock with you. And, we kind of have a whole system that we used to do, and I think, that we're going to take you through the same way we used to back in the day. We're going to talk some music news, we're going to talk some bands, some new music, all the good stuff. And, we're going to have lively discussions on topics in the scene. And, let's jump in with one of the topics. And I think the perfect way to start off the first show is discussing what our actual genres in this scene are. There's so many subgenres of rock, and my boyfriend, he hates pop punk, but we argue because a lot of the things that he listens to, I think, is pop punk. And
can we pause this for a second? How the hell did he pass my test and I not know that he doesn't like pop punk, Michelle? He just lost so many brownie points, bro.
But
-1.
He'll get a point because he always goes to shows with me, even though he does not like it.
All right, he gained some back.
So kind.
I was gonna say, I'm like, the one all-time low show that was in town, I didn't even bother asking my boyfriend. I'm like, I'm going by myself because I don't have to babysit you. Bye!
sure. But yeah, so there's a lot of I think arguments even within us that like are really in the scene, that pay attention to the bands and everything. Like it's hard to define like what's punk, what's pop punk, what's indie, what's alternative.
Even for us, like I don't even, when someone asks me what kind of music I listen to, like what kind of music is All Time Low or The Main, I'm like, well, I say like 55 words to even like try to, I'm like, oh, well, it's pop, punk, rock, alternative.
Do you guys know those videos that they do on YouTube of like kids reacting to like whatever?
Oh yeah.
Well, there was one of them where Blink-182 watched kids reacting to their music.
I just watched that one.
Yeah. What?
And they did this whole thing about how there isn't really genres anymore, that everything is just commingled, and it's like, people draw inspiration from all different crazy things, and there's no real way to nail down anything. So all of this stuff we're going to discuss is like very fluid, and it just kind of depends on your personal opinions.
Yeah, I think they all bleed into each other a bit. Like, I mean, as we were kind of touching base about this a bit before the show, as we learned like the actual Google definitions of all these genres, they're all pretty similar, to be honest. So like, I think to start with, rock, that is definitely the parent genre. Like that's the catch-all, and it's literally defined as a broad genre of popular music. It originated as rock and roll in the United States in the early 1950s and developed into a different range of styles. So, I think at this point, like, what people consider rock is a lot of classic rock. You'll see...
basically what our parents listen to.
Yeah. Like Beatles, Rolling
I listen
Stones,
to them too, but
Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, AC/DC, Aerosmith, Queen, Guns N' Roses, all those guys. I mean, I fucking love Queen.
I was literally thinking that we said Queen. I'm like, Queen.
Yeah, I saw them at Global Citizen this past summer with Adam Lambert. It was phenomenal. Brian Mays can still get it. But, that's like, no, I didn't mean like that. I meant like he can get after like the music. I'm not... That's not what I meant.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Don't put words in my mouth, you dirty, dirty girl.
Oh my.
But, rock is just kind of like the whole genre, but it also is kind of like associated with classic rock. Yeah?
'Tis the umbrella that all of these things hide under.
For sure. And then, alternative, from what I gather about alternative, it's basically all-encompassing on the rock that we listen to. Well, I think anything, honestly.
Because it's just
I feel like it's like modern.
Yeah.
It's like modern rock. It's like when you hear just
Versus
rock,
classic.
you think classic rock. And then when you hear alternative, it's just like modern rock to me.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You definitely get some of, like, the bands that maybe kind of were, like, maybe 90s starting, and then, like, they're still popular today, and they've kind of defined what it is these days, because as I was looking for definitions, Google also listed like artists in this genre, and alternative got like Red Hot Chili Peppers and Pearl Jam and Nirvana, but also Green Day, My Chemical Romance, and Blink-182, and I think those are just very different bands.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we were saying before about all these kind of genres mixing. And then, we've got punk rock. And that's where I think, things get heated in the scene, because, like real punks, like...
I've literally never even heard of two of these bands.
Like, who the hell is Black Flag and Dead Kennedys?
You don't know who Dead Kennedys is, guys? Oh, no.
Remember the upcoming segments that are going to be happening in the show.
For sure. Yeah,
we'll do it on there.
As much as... we love this music and stuff. We've grown up a bit over the years. We're adults with like real jobs, so it's hard to keep up. And for some of us, it's harder than others, right, Brianne?
Don't judge me. I have to like keep like I own a house now. Okay, there's a lot of shit to do with that. Owning property isn't easy.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Anywho,
but I think like where a lot of big like clashes over, genre definitions, it comes from like punk rock, because I listen to pop punk. We all listen to pop punk the most, I would say, but people kind of shit on me for like listening to pop punk, because they're like, oh, that's not like real punk, real punk rock's the Ramones, the Clash, yeah, and namely my boyfriend, he makes fun of me for that stuff, but I don't know, I think it just kind of goes down. It's all they're all like umbrellas for each other, because under punk rock you're gonna get pop punk. Yeah. And I think with a lot of pop punk, it's also like a spectrum. There's like some things are a little bit more punky, some things are a little bit more poppy, but they're still pop punk, right? Because I mean, Newfound Glory, Blink, Green Day, Fall Out Boy, some of them have like they're some of the classic pop punk bands, but they're like I almost grittier versus like someone like All Time Low. Like Newfound Glory is not that gritty, but you know what I mean.
I feel like My Chemical Romance is more gritty than I feel like they're more on the gritty scale than
well, because they're also a little bit more emo, but they also fall under pop punk. So see, that's where we all again are seeing these.
My Chemical Romance cannot be defined.
They cannot be defined.
They cannot be defined. I'm a thespian now. It's fine.
But yeah, and then there's neon pop punk, which is even like more like bubblegum to me. Well, not really. I mean, I
thought this one was so cool. I had no idea this was a thing at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you listen but it's so. I just think it's so accurate, and I feel like when I read the names of these bands, Metro Station, 303, Cobra Starship, Cash, White Tie Affair, like that's exactly like it fits so perfectly to that name, and it's like summertime, windows down, blasting, and like screaming, singing kind of music. And I think that's so awesome.
It's a lot more poppy, but it's still, rock.
But it's it's like exciting and like dancey kind of.
It's a lot
Are
of
they bops? Are they bops, Kel?
Oh yeah,
they're bops.
But also their music is a lot more like top 40 friendly, if you will. Like a lot of people I know like songs from these bands versus like Green Day or whatever. Like that stuff's way more niche. But like my sister, who is not a rock person by ever, like Eminem was her favorite artist growing up. She loves like 303 and Cobra Starship and all this stuff, but like basically individual songs. Like I feel like these bands are a lot more individual songs rather than like someone's gonna listen to their discography.
Oh, for sure. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, discographies, that's the right word.
I'm like that's right, yeah. It just sounded weird.
Yeah, these are like our one-hit wonders, kind of.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's definitely, I think, it's the pop punk genre that makes it to the radio, because it does, it's
attributed to like a bigger audience.
Will jam to it. We're not in the 90s, early 2000s where rock was on the radio. All you get these days are Ariana Grande, Camila Cabello, Shawn Mendes, and I mean I like that music, but it doesn't I think expand anybody's musical palette.
Do I sound pretentious? Because I didn't feel really pretentious saying that.
And then we've got emo. Now, emo is interesting because it's just, most people would think emo, just think of emo. They don't think of it as like rock music, but it's rock music. It's just really sad rock music. And it's definitely like punkish and,
it's like the Black Like My Soul.
Yeah, exactly. Makes you want to cry. But it was really funny when I was, like I said, when I was looking up all these definitions, Google had Skrillex listed as the first artist for emo.
Get the fuck out of here. No.
That's incorrect.
That just like totally threw me for a loop. Like when I think emo, My Chemical Romance is like number one, first of all. And then like, you get Taking Back
Sunday and Dashboard.
And Hawthorne Heights, like Ohio's for Lovers is
my God,
such an emo anthem.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I can't think of the name of the band, but there was like, I can see the album cover. It's the one with the spaceman on it.
Brand New.
Pretty colors, but
Brand New.
Thank you. Yes, them too.
Yeah.
What about Mayday Parade? I feel like Mayday Parade is like.
Oh yeah.
They're definitely super emo. Like miserable at best. Let's get real.
I was literally singing that in my head. I'm like, Katie, don't cry. What?
Yeah.
But going back to Brand New, I actually don't listen to them anymore. I mean, I was never a huge fan.
I haven't in years.
But he is now I'm not entirely sure what came of it, but there were like sexual assault allegations against the front man, and so you know with the cancel culture of the internet these days, a lot of people were not just like
Brand New.
Yeah, and it was like heartbreaking for a lot of people because like the thing about rock and a lot of these genres is that they like. It's different from pop and I think rap because I think they really just define people's personalities. They define people's lives. You know, you get so attached to this music and these bands that like, you know, hearing something like that's gonna kill you. You know, it gives you like an identity crisis almost.
Yeah.
You know, and then this is a little bit more outside of our genre. You know, screamo and metalcore.
I feel like screamo still. I listened to all these bands at one point. The metalcore definitely is outside my. Actually,
no, actually, I definitely have a few stuff like screamo, which apparently screamo's a derivative of crunkcore. I don't know what the fuck that is.
What in the actual fuck is crunkcore? I'm sorry.
I feel like half of these words have to be made up. Like I don't know.
I mean, they're definitely, but.
Oh but yeah, God, no, I mean, funny. Screamo it's emo, but it's just an aggressive emo. And
I hate you loudly.
That is the most accurate description of any genre I've ever heard. I hate you loudly.
Again.
But yeah, they put Skrillex again, Google. I don't know why they're so like Skrillex is these genres. I don't know.
I
don't like it.
But you know so much, but I just don't believe it.
I don't agree.
Yeah.
But you know, like screamo, I used to listen to Senses Fail all the time when I was in high school. Silverstein, I've listened to a couple of their songs. Bless the Fall, I don't listen to, but I follow Boboken on Instagram. He's married to Lights.
Obsessed.
They're just the cutest family with their daughter Rocket.
I was literally about to ask, is that the people who have the baby? Yep.
Yeah, so
she's not a baby. She's like, what, 6 now or something?
Close. And she's just as, like, cool and, like...
She's so cool.
And stuff. Like, it's...
She's way cooler than me, for sure.
Love that family.
Can they just stop me?
Yeah, seriously. And then, like we said, we thought metalcore was a little bit outside of our stuff, but I still listen to some of this stuff. It's a derivative of screamo. But it's like...
Killswitch Engage, hell yeah.
Yes, Killswitch Engage. You know, the only reason I listened to Killswitch Engage was because a guy I had a crush on in high school was, like, a huge fan. And, like, even his his AIM screen name was,
oh my god, deep cuts right now.
AIM.
Also, I can honestly say I've never called it AIM. It was always AIM.
Oh, no, I always called it AIM.
Weird.
Yeah, funny. That's interesting. But for all those really young listeners out there, because, you know, there's so many of you right now. Some of you might not know what AIM or AIM is. It was AOL Instant Messenger. So, you know, it was just, you know, it was our way to communicate in the late 90s, early 2000s. You know, I think we're really showing our age here.
Yeah, back when dial-up was a thing, you had to yell at your mom to get off the phone in order to use the internet.
They don't know what dial-up is either. And then, you know, we could go on and on. You know, there's grunge, there's post-grunge, there's post-punk, skate, heavy metal, deathcore, Nintendo core, emo rap. There's so many
Nintendo core?
Yes.
Wait, what the hell is Nintendo core?
And that is patent pending. That's patent pending.
It's 100% like patent pending.
They have their own genre.
It's like an 8-bit, like nerdy, it's like nerdy subjects, and then like they've got that kind of like video game sound.
Huh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I don't know anyone else that sounds like that aside from patent pending.
There's a couple of bands that I'll show you, or maybe we'll talk about them on the show at some point. We'll do a whole segment on Nintendo core.
Oh god.
No, I honestly thought when you said patent pending that you meant Nintendo core, you were naming it and it was quote unquote patent pending. I didn't realize it was a band.
No, it's a band free. But, you know, like I said, there's just so many. Like, I mean, even indie falls under the rock genre, but that's just like so far removed from like the stuff that we listen to. Though I do still like a lot of this stuff. Like
I was gonna say all of those bands I listened minus the Strokes. I don't really listen to them. But
yeah, like Vampire Weekend, Arcade Fire, Mumford and Sons, Modest Mouth, Arctic Monkeys, The Strokes. The Strokes was actually they played at Bernie's rally.
What?
Bernie he had a rally a week or two ago. I think it was in New Hampshire, and the Strokes played at the rally. It was just like kind of blew my mind that he would how old is he, 70 something, has like a band like the Strokes play at his rally, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, you know, and I guess that shows like how expansive really rock is, and you know, anybody can listen to any of these genres at any time, even if it's just a song, it's just a band. It's there's so much to the rock genre. And I think the conclusion we came to shut down all arguments across the internet forever is that rock is all the same. You can't really define a lot of bands and music and stuff, and that is the final conclusion.
Are we in agreement?
There you go. You're welcome.
I feel like that's good. We solved it, guys. We solved it.
So now we're gonna go on to music news. And we're gonna start off with probably one of the biggest news in the scene in a while. They knew we were thinking about getting the band back together, so they got theirs back together first and totally stole our thunder. My Chemical Romance has reunited after... Actually, I think it was... They went on hiatus the same year we stopped doing the Moshpit, which was 2013 when me and Brianne graduated.
Hey, Kelly and Paige did it, the Moshpit after they graduated.
Yeah, you guys did it for like, what, a semester?
No, I did it until...
They did it through she graduated.
I graduated.
Really? We're the longest... The Moshpit was the longest running show on WJMF history. Sup?
Wow. I'm actually surprised, though, Cal. I forgot that you did it that long. Maybe I was just an asshole and stopped listening.
I used to listen when I was at my dad's office when I was working for him in, like, slave labor. It's fine.
No, I think I listened to it. Maybe I just forgot how long it actually lasted going for, yeah. But, yeah, back to My Chemical Romance. I love them, and I'm excited that they're back, but at the same time, it's always weird when bands come back together after such a long time, because they're, you know, it's I feel like it's always hard for them to, like, mesh again, and, yeah.
What, are they doing new music, or is it just a reunion tour?
I think it's just reunion for right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of, like, next on their list of things.
See, I feel like a reunion tour is a lot easier for them to get to deal with and getting back together. It's when bands out of nowhere come back after a long time with new music, and it's never as good as the original stuff. I mean, nothing's usually as good as the original stuff, but it's just like, oh, you tried. Nice.
No. You want it to be good so badly.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Sometimes it just doesn't live up. And there's so much hype, too, for if that were to happen, there would be so much, like, pressure and hype for it to be amazing.
Yeah, it's just never gonna live up to the expectations, even if it is good.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like I said, I love My Chemical Romance. I know you guys weren't ever big fans, right? Just like kind of their popular stuff.
I'm not a huge fan. I like their anthems. Like they do have for sure a couple like anthems.
Yeah.
Teenagers, I'm Not Okay, but aside from like those few, I have never really gotten super into them, but even so I was still like very excited to hear about the reunion.
Yeah, I
think that's cool.
But and I was like totally planning on like, you know, spending a decent chunk of change to go see them, and then I remembered, because I thought I'd never seen them before, and then I remembered that I had, and I'm like, oh yeah, they weren't that great live.
No, they're not.
They're not a great live band. So I'm like, so there's not really
and
that
age
much hype
isn't doing
anymore.
much for them.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I've definitely not seen them live before, but I do have to say when they played I'm Not Okay at emo night, it was probably like the single best moment ever.
I can imagine everyone just losing their fucking minds.
Yeah, just at emo night, that song playing was like insane.
Everybody gets so into it at emo nights. I love going to them.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
For
Jacksonville, Florida doesn't do emo night.
Well, I mean, it's not only like because there's the two major ones, emo night Brooklyn and then emo night LA, which I've been to both, and emo night Brooklyn's better. But I'm starting a war right now between the emo nights.
I was about to say, I'm like, there's gonna be some comments.
Oh.
But there's always like I mean, I don't know, maybe Jacksonville doesn't have these either, but like there's local emo nights like around here. There are local emo nights by me, so maybe you just have to search them out.
I'll keep an eye out. We'll see.
Yeah. At any rate, I think we're all going to choose to listen to My Chemical Romance at emo nights versus live and in person. Though it is still exciting news that they're back.
Yeah.
As much as it's exciting news that the Moshpit's back. So also recently, I think it was at the end of January, water parks dropped their unreleased demos after Austin Knight, the frontman, he challenged fans to get 20,000 retweets. Absolutely chaos ensued. People at Hopeless Records were crying. It was like the end of the world. No, I'm just kidding. But it was funny to see that, because the fandoms, you can see how like really loyal and powerful that a fandom can be. That they, Austin was like, yeah, let me just make this joke, and I don't think it's gonna happen. And then his fans are like, haha, I guess again.
Do we know how many retweets it got? Did it get?
I think it got like 21. I think it got like 21,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think once they hit 20K, they're like,
obscene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, whoops! I meant 200,000. Didn't do it.
Yeah.
I forgot the extra zero.
Whoops.
But yeah, it really shows how rabid the fans in the scene can be, and that can be like super positive, like this situation. But there's also like a really negative aspect to it, like the whole stan culture. And Austin from Water Parks actually did an interview about it, and a quote from the article from Louder Sound said, in 2016, when we started doing cool stuff, we got a lot of like, I'm glad this is happening, I guess, but I miss when it was just my thing, he says, pausing to yell into his hands. That is so selfish. Even at the time, I was like, I was poor then, I'm poor now, stop. Because he was talking about how, like, really, like, with the internet, you have, like, these bands so accessible. So, especially for, like, teenagers who are, like, more impressionable, maybe, like, the younger people in the scene, they really connect to these people, and they think that because that they can talk to them on Twitter that they're their best friend, but they don't actually know them, and that's that I think that can be super dangerous too, not only for one's own mental health as a fan, but like for the bands that we listen to. It kind of might make them not want to continue making music for fans, because they just don't want to deal with the fandoms.
That's what they called their newest album too, right? Fandom, or they had an EP or something.
I think there was something like that, yeah. And I actually listened to the things that they released, and it wasn't bad. It definitely some like really cool vibes. Like I don't even remember what band it reminded me of, but it was more. I liked it more than I've liked previous Water Park stuff, because I've liked some of their songs, but I wasn't like obsessed.
I like their songs. I think they would, for me, back to that genre talk, I feel like they would kind of fall into that neon pop punk.
Is it just because his hair's green?
No. See how perfectly it fits? But I just feel like their music is very like danceable, and I don't know. I think it falls into that, and it does not hurt that his hair is neon green. So
yeah, that I definitely agree that they could totally fall into the neon pop punk genre.
Well, I
feel like they're have you heard what is it called? Watch What Happens Next. Their song Watch What Happens Next, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, is like kind of, so how we was saying in that interview, like I was poor then, I'm poor now. The song is like talking about how he wants like a big car, he wants nice thing, or a big house, a nice car, he wants nice things. and all of that. And I feel like it's easy for fans to be like, oh, I feel like frontmen in bands and like bands in general, you like put them on this pedestal and like you think they maybe like make more money than they do or they have more than you.
Oh, 100%.
But really, they're people like us.
Yeah, unless they're like really popular, they're making salaries like the rest of us. It's not that much. You know, and there's
it's also
lots of
a lot of
costs
sacrifice too.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of like I know a lot of bands like talk about how they're on the road all the time and like their wives and their kids. Like I mean, the bands we used to listen to in college are now at that point in their lives where they're having kids and you know the whole thing. And like Travis from We the Kings, I think has like 5 kids now or something obscene. And
I think he only has like 3.
I think it's like 2.
No, his wife is pregnant. His wife's pregnant again, so they at least have 4.
Okay.
Or they're going to have 4. I follow him on Instagram. His wife is adorable. Anyways, but he talks about how he tries not to, like, they don't really go on, they tour, but not as much because of the fact that, like, he wants to be at home with his family and whatnot. It makes it way harder.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
I can imagine.
Priorities change as they get older, you know?
Exactly.
And as much as, like, you know, this is their passion and everything, you know, they do have other aspects of their lives that we aren't necessarily privy to, you know? As much as, going back to water parks, as much as we're not fans of them, we are the biggest fans of All Time Low, also known as The Loves of Our Lives. And they have a new single out, and it's about damn time. Because Last Young Renegade came out in 2017, and I've been following All Time Low for more than a decade. And they've been pretty consistent about releasing albums every 2 years, and they're overdue.
We're ready.
But yeah, so what did you guys think about the song, which, Some Kind of Disaster, that's what it's called. Yes. I forgot for a second.
Obviously I loved it, but did I tell you my very first reaction to the song, like what it reminded me of?
No. What was it?
I didn't. So remember that song from, it was like a one-hit wonder in the late 90s that I forget, I don't even know who sings it, but it was
my God, are you about to say this?
I'm a lover.
It's
that one?
a one-hit wonder. That's Alanis Morissette. What are you talking about?
Oh, is it really? I had no idea that was Alanis Morissette. No idea. But the whole beginning part of Some Kind of Disaster. No, that's not mine. The whole beginning part of Some Kind of Disaster just like took me back to that song.
That's fair.
Oh, interesting. I can kind of see that, but what I really liked about it is that I thought they were, you know, they're still like moving forward with their sound. They're still like doing, you know, their own stuff, and like, you know, but I felt like some throwbacks to you know, like real old All Time Low, but like also still like sticking with the like Last Young Renegade vibe. And
see, that was I just remember when Dirty Laundry came out, and all of us were so torn on it because like we all wanted that breakdown at like the first verse, and like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like we were all getting really frustrated, and like they're not giving us what we want. And the problem with that is, it's like they don't give a shit what we want. They want to make the music they want to make, and
I mean, I think they do give a shit what we want.
Well, but you know what I mean, though. Like they're more focused on like what they want to make, and then hopefully we like it, which we do. Like it just took a little bit to get used to it, but I do like how they're kind of like pivoting to try to merge the two kind of vibes.
Well, so for me, you know what's funny is this is why as I listen to bands, like, you know, I start listening to bands sometimes, you know, with their first albums, their EPs, and then as they continue their musical journey, if you will, they you know, they always evolve their sound, and I'm always more willing to give them a chance because of my experience with All Time Low. Because I remember when I heard Weightless for the first time off of Nothing Personal. So think about like the real like true pop punk vibes that So Wrong It's Right gives you, and then you hear Weightless, and it's just so different. And not at the same time. And I didn't ever
feel it was super different. I loved it
but I think it was like a more maybe, I don't know how to explain what it was different to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
It felt more pop and like
maybe,
it felt more mainstream.
Yeah, and then also they did something I don't know. To me, Alex's voice was different, and then so it took me a bit to get used to it, but I fell in love with it. It's one of my favorite songs, and that album is fantastic. And as they continue to grow, I'm always just willing to. I always end up liking their music, even if at first I'm a little iffy on it, because I give it a chance. And your like gut instinct might be to like hate it because it's different, but different's always not always bad,
That was wise.
Oh, thanks, guys. And then the video was pretty cool. I was very confused by it at first. I was like, what is happening here?
It felt like it was deep, but I just didn't.
I didn't get
not
it.
Deep.
But the one thing about this song that has thrown me, because someone tweeted at Alex about the lyrics, because, you get a lot of misheard lyrics around and in songs, so you want to clarify them. And someone asked if I woke up from a never-ending dream. I shut my eyes at 17. I lost every moment in between. I felt the sun rise up and swallow me. Yeah. I don't know why I had to say the yeah, but
Yeah.
But some people were asking if it was sun or song, and most people were thinking sun because like the little sun icon that they're using now, it's on their merch and all of that. But Alex's response was it could be either or, because it was song, and then he finally landed on sun, but you can sing it either way, and that
kind of killed me.
It threw me.
No, there's one lyric.
There is a right answer. Don't give me all this gray area, Alex. Too much gray.
But yeah, regardless of what Alex says, the song was good, and I'm looking forward to more new music in the coming months, because I'm sure their album is going to drop soon. Yes.
Wait, before we transition away from this, I also wanted to talk about real quick just the lyrics and how it showed. We were talking before about like bands progressing and getting older and the whole thing. I felt like I don't know if it's the verse or the bridge, but the part where it's like, well, I've sung the song 1,000 times, I wore the crown, I sold a lie, I lived the life and paid for every crime, yeah. And the whole song kind of makes me feel like you can easily translate the chorus into feeling like, oh, it's a dating thing, but like the fact it's all my fault and I'm still the one you want. Like, I feel like it's him talking to fans about like, like we've been through this, like I'm getting older, like this is great, like, you know what I mean? Like the fact, and there was that whole controversy with I Feel Like Dancing and all that stuff about how they were selling out and trying to be on the radio versus doing what they wanted to do, and they're getting away from their vibe. So I feel like that's kind of a nod to that part of their lives, if that makes sense.
Well, when they were on that major label, for sure, that was a treacherous time in All Time Low's career.
True, but I still love that album.
I do too. It's a fun one. It's like the kind of album, like Kelly said, you listen in the summer with your windows down, and it doesn't have to be that deep. It's fun.
All Time Low's neon pop punk. Clearly, this is my new favorite genre, I guess.
Neon pop punk. You're just gonna call everything neon pop punk.
I know.
But yeah, Brie, I totally agree. I think I think that's definitely the message in the song. But yeah, and I think that's what's beautiful about music is that like what you said, it could easily translate it into like a love kind of thing. But it's how people interpret it and what it means to them, and I think that's awesome.
Mm.
So next on the agenda, that we say, I mean, obviously we have basically a pop punk podcast, though we cover all of it.
We'll dabble. We'll dabble in other rock.
And we are very big advocates that pop punk is not dead. And who else is an advocate? Newfound Glory and Simple Plan. They have announced that pop punk's not dead. Wait, hold on. Let me try that again. The pop punk's not dead.
Still not
dead.
Pop punk's not dead. That's not. You didn't type that correctly.
I didn't type
it.
Wait,
is it? No, because I can see them.
Not dead tour.
Yeah, it's the Pop Punk's Still Not Dead tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wrote it wrong in our notes, guys. That's all.
Pop punk's not dead. Still not dead.
Yes, that's how I wrote it. All right, guys, don't make fun of me. Whatever. Anyways, fuck yeah, pop punk's not dead. But you know what I find interesting, that pop punk has evolved a lot, and for me right now in this era, pop punk is defined by like bands like State Champs and Neck Deep. But it's interesting that the giants in this genre, New Found Glory and Simple Plan, are the ones like headlining a tour like this. And it's interesting because it's like they're like, should they like let other bands kind of be the ones that are like the stars of the genre? You know what I mean?
Like they're trying to grab the spotlight from the new upcoming bands.
I mean, I love New Found Glory, I love Simple Plan, but when I've seen Simple Plan live a few times recently, in the last couple of years, and they play all their old stuff. They don't play any new stuff. New Found Glory, a lot of their old stuff. They have played like some of their newer albums, but they're not as good as their older stuff. So like at this point, people go for the nostalgia, but are they like actually, just kind of taking the spotlight away from newer bands? Or, I mean, you could say they're giving younger bands opportunity for more, for a bigger platform, because they're taking Knuckle Puck on tour, and I'm a fan of Knuckle Puck.
That's kind of like they're giving newer bands like an opportunity to open up for them too. So this is for Knuckle Puck to open for Simple Plan and New Found Glory. Like,
I don't follow Knuckle Puck much, but I don't think I've ever seen them headline a tour. So something like this could give them the opportunity to headline if they pick up and get a lot of new fans and stuff. And it's all in the same genre. That people that like New Found Glory and Simple Plan, there's going to be people that are going to like Knuckle Puck for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, I think no, they weren't on tour with Blink. Never mind. For some reason, I thought it was. But I also think that now that Warped Tour is essentially dead, like they're not doing it anymore, that there aren't these, big shows that you're able to see these little niche bands and fun. You know what I mean? Like half the bands I ended up liking, I saw for the first time at Warped Tour and just went on a whim because there wasn't anything in that time slot that I wanted to see. So the fact that there isn't that kind of a platform, I mean, now it's all on the internet, but like there's no way to see people in person. You know what I mean? Like Neck Deep isn't going to just out of nowhere get like this crazy, countrywide tour with people actually wanting to go to it. They have to like, hitch their ride onto something else. So also I feel like out of any bands to say that pop punk is still not dead, I feel like those are the two bands I was thinking of. Like, I'm surprised the band's still alive? Question mark.
Oh my god, Brianne.
like not to no
they
shade.
Don't just
I
like
love
they
both
don't
of
turn
them, but
40
I haven't
and keel over and die.
I'm not saying that. It's just you know how like when people become famous and you haven't heard about them forever, it's like did that person die? I don't remember. It's more of like that mentality of like, shut up, I'm not wrong. Like, okay, you're telling me right now if there's an actor who's like in their 50s and you're like, I haven't heard anything about them in like 3 years. You kind of wonder, did I miss when they died?
Oh my god.
I mean, I guess so. But just because you haven't seen New Found Glory around in Simple Plan.
I know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, personally, I haven't heard anything. So when I saw this, I was like, they're still doing their thing. Good to know.
Oh my god.
Shut up.
Are either of you going?
I'm thinking about it, but I don't know. Because I've seen
I haven't
New Found Glory a lot, and the crowd's always kind of eh.
It's a little rough.
I was just gonna say I think I would want to go to this show, but it's on the night of my brother's wedding, so I will not be attending.
Yeah.
All right. So next, Kelly actually brought this up to us. That Pat Kirch from the Maine is not going on the Mirror Europe UK tour.
Yeah, he's not going. He's home. They're on tour now. But Pat is staying home so he can be with his wife for the birth of his first kid. So we talked about this earlier with Travis from We the Kings too, having 7 children.
I'm gonna look it up right now. I swear to God, there's at least 4.
But it's just so great. I think this one hit me so much harder because Pat is the main, like,
he's so iconic with his long hair.
He just like does everything for them, and he like is so into it all, and he just like loves it so much that when I saw this, I was like, oh my god, it's so real. How hard must have that been for him to like choose not to go on tour? I don't know. That was a lot.
I mean, I feel like kids kind of change your perspective.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, but I mean, I think you know, it was probably like, yeah, a tough decision, but like, I mean, or maybe actually it probably wasn't, because I think you would want to be there for the birth of your kid. But you know, he was really like I don't know, it was nice the way he kind of told everybody. He's like, listen, I'll be back. This is not the end. It's just, you know, gotta be there. But like in his little note, he went, I can't wait to be back with you all on the next tour in the next 50 years of the Maine.
And I love that.
Because the Maine is one of those bands that I like tune in and out of. And, you know, I didn't listen to them for a couple albums, and then I came back to them, and I just love how much they love their art, they love their music, and like they put everything into it, and then they love their fans so much. Like they do so much for their fans. Like one of their like staples that I guess I love about them is that you don't have to pay to meet another human being, and they don't like charge extra for like VIPs and stuff. And I think that's one of like the best things that they do. And you know, they've really built a community and a family around the 8123 group.
Like
yeah, so I think that's fantastic, you know. And I think going back to what we were talking about, like fandoms and like stan culture earlier, I think it's like one of the healthiest things, because like they truly make their fans feel like they're part of the family.
Yeah, and even like how detailed he was with like this note and like him saying all of this, people, I guess, like fans were still like freaking out that the band was going to be over and all of this stuff. So Pat and Garrett do a podcast together too, the 8123 podcast, and they talked about Pat not going on tour on one of the episodes, and he said that he just wants to make sure fans like understand this isn't the end of the Maine and like all of this stuff. So I'm just like so surprised, even with like how open he's being about it. There's people are still freaking out. Everyone's just like so scared that it's going to be over.
Update: Travis Clark has 3 children. I was wrong, but
Okay.
still had 3.
Well, I said 3. I said about 3.
I said 3 or 4. I couldn't remember. I thought there was 4. He posts so much about his kids, and he posts a ton about his wife being pregnant, like when it shows up in my timeline. So that's why I was like, he's gonna have.
Sure,
like,
I did
8
see
by
a lot
now.
about Jenny being pregnant.
Jenny's adorable. Their whole
She's
family's
super cute.
adorable.
One of my favorite things about their relationship is oh crap, what song is it? One of the songs is Anna Maria, I think it is, because it's Anna Maria Island, and that's like where like they got engaged and like that kind of stuff, and like it's about her, and it's really cute. I love that song too.
I just realized who I confused Travis Clark with, and Michelle, you'll appreciate
Steve
this.
Weatherford.
Yes,
I knew it.
He's got like 7 kids.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I feel validated. I'm like, there's some man that I follow on Instagram that's famous that has 1,000 kids. I just switched sports and music. Okay, anyways, moving on.
So next, Neck Deep is being cryptic as fuck. They've been like posting pictures with like, what was it, an orange or something, and like it was very weird, and I hate it when bands are like
mysterious, because it's
All
like,
time
I know
organized.
something's coming, just
gimme. Yes, All Time Low does
Specifically
that
with
all
the
the time.
caption, "Hi, hello, how are you?" What?
Yes.
That's
So
weird.
annoying. But so far what they've let known to the public, they have an app, like a fan app, which I downloaded, and basically it invites you to some sort of immersive fan experience in London called Sonderland. Is that how
Can
you
we-
pronounce that?
Yeah, probably.
I'm telling you, I am tempted to go.
I want to go so much.
Is
I'm
anyone else
curious.
like just in awe of the fact of that we are now in the era of, oh, this band released an app, like it's no fucking big deal? Like that's so weird to me. Like am I the only one? Like there's an app for that is now applying to bands.
I guess, I suppose, but like I don't know, like there were always like fan forums and fan community, like
Yeah, but usually
sites.
those weren't like, you know, I mean, it's usually just crazy fans making them. Not crazy fans, but enthusiastic.
No, the bands would like create like places for fans to like kind of.
On their website.
yeah.
Like anything that was on their website. So now
I guess
essentially
yeah.
anything that's a website is now an app.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
I guess. I don't know. It was one of those things when I saw the app, I was like, oh, what?
Yeah.
I know. Well, it's like the first one, right? I don't think any other band has an app.
Not that I know of.
Not that I know of either. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head.
They're so technologically advanced.
They are. And I mean, I wonder, thinking that they're technologically advanced, I wonder what this immersive fan experience will entail. Because, you know, like, the Mirror tour, going back to the main, that was like a whole big experience, a immersive experience that they called it. I didn't go to the Mirror tour, so I don't know what that actually was.
I went to the Mirror tour. It
So
was
was it-
like, I don't know. I didn't like feel super immersed. It felt like a normal concert, I want to
okay.
say. But I mean, like, so they did like a couple things. Like everyone was wearing like the mustard yellow, and like the whole crowd was like kind of wearing that color. And then the drinks at the bar were, I think, like the main themed, or like that album themed. And then there was this little like photo area where they had mirrors and like flowers and stuff. And you can put like a flower on the grave and stuff like that.
So what you're telling me is that if someone went high as balls, they would have a great fucking time.
I mean, probably, but that would be like a show.
I mean, to be fair, that's not my thing. Like, I'm not into that kind of thing. If you are, good for you. Do it safely. But anytime I hear some kind of crazy immersive thing, maybe it's because I saw people tripping on mushrooms at the Van Gogh Museum. I just automatically assume that when I studied abroad, I had these two girls I went with literally ate like magic mushrooms and went through the Van Gogh Museum, and their reactions were fucking priceless. So anytime I think of like an immersive like experience, I just picture people like doing some kind of like hallucinogenic drugs and being like, whoa, you know? Sorry, that's just me, I guess.
I totally get it. I mean, we'll just have to see like what this immersive fan experience is. I mean, we're gonna have to experience it secondhand because we're not going to London, unfortunately. But yeah, so I'm excited to see, you know, what Neck Deep has in store for sure. Moving on, I'm also excited to see what Real Friends has in store because they just parted ways with their frontman and vocalist Dan Lambton. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's like a Twitch streamer, so I think he's gonna still be doing that, and like they had like creative differences, but I think it's gonna be really interesting to see where that band goes, because like typically when a band loses their vocalist, it's, even though the rest of the band is still together, it changes everything. So yeah, I don't know.
It's hard because I feel like like as much as we all want to say like, oh no, totally, the vocalist isn't the heart and soul of the band, because the like actual sound changes, and you can change like arrangements easily and whatnot, and you'll never know. But it's hard to disassociate the lead singer from the band name, you know? Like
For sure.
Like, no one knows who Maroon 5. I mean, let's be honest. Adam Levine is a bigger name than anyone else in Maroon 5. Like,
100%.
Just as more of a mainstream example. But
yeah,
like, I don't know. It's
the
hard.
front man is always, it's very true. Like I couldn't imagine like All Time Low, for example, without Alex Gaskarth. And like for me, back in the day, Amber Pacific was one of my favorite bands before I even discovered All Time Low, and they changed vocalists at one point, and then they went back to him, and you sensed the difference. Like it was a complete change. It didn't feel like the same band, even though it was mostly the same band. So yeah, well, it'll be interesting.
Did they say they got a new vocalist, or
not
like
yet?
This just happened like a couple of days ago, so I don't know what's gonna be going on, and it's a bummer because as I mentioned earlier, my boyfriend does not like pop punk, but he liked Real Friends.
So having one of the only bands he
that's
likes,
a good segue.
Yeah. So yeah, but we'll see. And so the final thing that we're gonna talk about in music news is Haylee Williams. Brianne, you have strong feelings about this.
I have very strong feelings about this. So Haylee Williams released a new single by herself. I forget what the name of it was, but she posted something about it on Instagram, and so I was like, on my lunch break at work, I'll listen. So she went straight with the music video, and it is just, it's very strange. It's like techno-y, she's like whispering, I don't know. The music video itself is her like naked, running through the woods, being chased by someone, and then she walks into this house and like finds a bowl of clay with some candle. It's like real like demonic shit where she like covers herself in this weird clay, and then there's this like dark figure that comes to kill her, and then because she's in the clay it doesn't see her. I don't fucking know. It's so weird. Like, I love Haylee Williams, and her voice sounds amazing in it, and it's like, I've listened to it a couple times, and it's grown on me each time, but it's never gonna be, like, ultimate Paramore. Like, we were talking earlier about how, Paramore's last album was, like, quote-unquote weird, but it was just a very 80s vibe, and it was still good. This is weird, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get on board with this, and I love Haylee. It's very strange. I don't know. I just need to vent,
very weird. Yeah, there you go.
Very strange. You guys need to go watch the video and then report back to us on our various social medias.
At the Moshpit Pod, go ahead and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Ha! Nice little plug.
Welcome.
So that's all we got for you with music news. And
news. I love the inflection.
Yeah, the music news. That's it. So now we're gonna get into our band spotlight of the month. And drumroll, please.
Oh, can we insert that?
Yeah, we'll insert that.
It is All Time Low. Duh. That's my best Billie Eilish voice.
I was so confused when you put that in the notes. I was like, what do you mean Billie Eilish? Like her really high pitch? Like, I don't know what to...
I didn't like that. In the song. Duh. That really...
I'm a bad...
Oh, okay.
Duh.
Wow. I love that song too.
That one.
So, as we've mentioned, All Time Low is like our favorite band. Pretty much across the board, all three of us. Because, one, it brought us together, and I mean, obviously, they just have awesome music, in our opinions. Obviously, there are some of you out there who probably think they're lame, but whatever. We don't want you listening to our show anyway. No, I'm just kidding. Please listen. But
just starting trouble already, Michelle.
Just causing trouble left and right. But so, All Time Low, for those who don't know, they're from... Are they actually from Baltimore or Towson? Or is that how you pronounce it?
I mean, they just always
say
say Baltimore their
suburb?
hometown.
I don't know. Regardless.
I'm just gonna go with Baltimore.
I'm gonna go with Baltimore. I mean, they have a song called For Baltimore. Okay. But yeah, so they're started at around 04, 05, I believe. And 05, I think, was when So Wrong It's Right came out, which was their debut album. And they have just blown up since then. They have now, So Wrong It's Right, Nothing Personal, Dirty Work,
Future Heart.
Don't Panic, Future Heart. 6 albums now?
Yeah, this
right?
is this. Yeah,
this is gonna be their 7th. Whatever, or do they have 7? I can't. Whatever. Regardless, we're really good about
Facts.
Such a terrible fan.
Hold on.
But yeah, you know, I mean, there's not much to it. Alex and Jack, I believe, started the band, and they found Ryan and Zach, and they found Ryan, and then I think they had auditions for like bassists, and Zach showed up, and that's how All Time Low came to be. Watch all of that be wrong.
Give me 10 seconds. Wikipedia will play that game. All Time Low formed in 2003 in Townsend. Good job, Michelle.
Maryland.
Wow.
Blah, 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 blah.
03, okay.
Band's
so
name is taken from the lyrics of Head On Collision by Newfound Glory.
Yes, I knew that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did not know that.
Yep, they were, it's a... I can't remember the words.
All right, we got...
And I would sing it for you, but I'm tone deaf, so...
Also, you, Mish, I'm surprised at you. You missed their EP. The Party Scene, So Wrong It's Right, Nothing Personal, Dirty Work, Don't Panic, Future Hearts,
What
Last Young
about-
Renegade.
Well, I
What
was
about
talking about
Put Up
their
or
EP.
Shut Up, too? Is
And
that
then,
on?
there's Put Up or Shut Up. That's an EP as well.
Well, I mean, according to
Wikipedia.
they have their history listed as like different sections. Yeah, the party scene, So Wrong Is Right, Nothing Personal, Dirty Work, Don't Panic, Future Hearts, and Last Jam Renegade.
Yeah.
So they have 7-ish, and this will be their 8th. Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't say put, what is it? No, the party scene, because,
that's more...
That's an EP, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is fair, but...
And I'm surprised, though, that they don't mention, Put Up or Shut Up. Because
I mean, this is just, like, a list real quick. It wasn't super...
Because I'm fairly certain, so I have an all-time low tattoo. It says, "Smile like you don't give a damn about the consequence" on my foot. It hurt like a bitch. And that's off of We Say Summer, which I think is actually on Put Up or Shut Up.
I don't think it is.
No?
I feel like that may be the party scene.
That's in the party scene? Let's see. Oh, yeah, you're right. It is in the party scene. I lied. Whatever. What's new?
How dare you?
But yeah, so, I mean, despite us not knowing the facts as well as we thought we did, we've been
I never claimed to know thoughts. I just like the music.
Yeah, I've been a fan since, I think, 05, 06. I remember I was, like, in early high school. What about you guys?
Yeah, probably early high school for me, too, which was, like probably a year after you.
Yeah, so, like, maybe, like, 08.
Like, So Wrong It's Right, I became, like, a really big fan.
Was released in September of 2007.
Yeah, that sounds, like, about right. But I do remember, like, I don't know if this was, like, while it was happening or, like, after I started getting into them, but I remember being absolutely obsessed with Coffee Shop Soundtrack.
Oh,
and I just watched, like, I just remember watching Alex performing that acoustic on, like, on YouTube, like, on repeat for, like, weeks when I found it.
That's funny.
Really weird, but yeah, I was obsessed with that song.
Oh, that reminds me of, like, a throwback to, like, BuzzNet days.
And they would post, like,
oh yeah,
tour videos.
Yeah.
BuzzNet?
I don't think I've even heard. Nope, no idea what that
is.
is.
The original BuzzFeed.
Yeah, kind of. It was like, but like bands had profiles and they'd post like videos for fans. I watched like every single one.
You guys gotta remember, I was like the scene. I was like in the closet. I was like in the closet scene kid. Like I didn't have many friends who actually were into it, and I like would one day wear like a punk rock t-shirt and then the next day wear 2 polos layered over each other with 1 pop collar. Like,
ew!
I know,
Brianne, you don't ever admit that.
I was so embarrassed.
I am honest with our fans, unlike you liar.
Whatever. But do you guys remember how you discovered All Time Low? Because I remember my story, and it's ridiculous.
I mean, to be completely honest, I don't. I'm betting it was probably like when I went to Warped Tour for the first time, and I was with a group of friends and whatnot. That Warped Tour trip was awesome. We stayed at one of my friends. His sister is like 20 years older than us. Long story. And so in high school, we stayed at her house with like her husband and her like kid. And because she lived right near the venue, and I'm betting it was then. That was when I started, I think, off liking We the Kings first, and I think that like forayed me into All Time Low and all that kind of stuff, and Paramore, and yeah, those were my first like 3 like core bands that were like these is my life.
Yeah, I think my first time, so I think my like entrance into pop punk was my friend Natalie in middle school and high school, and she kind of knew like a lot more about this scene than I did, and just kind of we started going to shows together and stuff, and I think she introduced me to them.
Oh, that's cool. So I got into the whole pop punk scene like gradually. Like I listened to Blink back in the day, Green Day, My Chemical Romance. Actually, my 7th grade music teacher played I'm Not Okay for us, and that was the first time I ever heard that.
What?
Really?
It was relevant to the lesson, and I thought it was like awesome. But
so
like I liked that type of music, and so I kind of had that background of Fall Out Boy because that was popular on the radio those days. And then I was watching TV, and do you remember those like ringtone commercials
where you could like
buy a song to be your ringtone?
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, the like old school iTunes store.
Yeah,
which is
so
now not even a thing.
Like, you had to, like, text a number.
Text the number, yeah.
So I saw Dear Maria on there. I heard it, and I was like, wow, I really like that song. Let me look it up. I found it on LimeWire. I'm really dating myself. Found it on LimeWire. I was like, I love this song. It's fantastic. And, you know, I wasn't the type of person to kind of like, oh, I love a song, let me listen to everything else this band has. But something about All Time Low, I was like, I need to listen to every single song they have. And I probably got like 30 viruses as I downloaded every song All Time Low has ever made. And that was it for me. I was sold.
I was a
lifetime deal. But yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely Dear Maria that was what got me. But then 6 Feet Under the Stars became my favorite song, and it still is to this day.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I think, I don't know, maybe it's an attachment, but I do. I mean, honestly, I think there's only one song, like, across their discography that I really don't like, and it's Therapy.
Which is? I knew it.
Really? Over Birthday?
Oh,
I forgot about Birthday.
That doesn't even count.
We don't talk about Birthday.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I like Therapy. I actually really like that song.
Yeah, no,
Therapy's not. It's I can take it or leave it. Like, it's not something I like need to hear when I'm at a show. But when it comes on, like my iTunes shuffle, I'm like, okay.
I mean, I'm always gonna sing along, but yeah. But if we're gonna choose, like, you know, power ballads or whatever, I'm going to pick like Remembering Sunday or any of their other ones.
Yeah,
I'll pick Remembering Sunday over any of them.
All the feels on that one.
Coffee Shop soundtrack, I feel like, is still like the bridge is like, for a long time I wanted to get the lyrics tattooed on me, but then I was like, that is a long fucking tattoo.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of words.
Yeah, and it would take forever. So I was.
Well,
just like,
I also
never mind.
I never told a lie and that makes me a liar. That whole bit.
That whole bit was what I wanted.
That's not from J.C. Ray.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's J.C. Ray, not Coffee Shop soundtrack.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Wow, that was
little brain fart. Yeah, you know, what I like about All Time Low, you know, is we were talking earlier about how, you know, bands' sounds grow and like they may lose fans over that when they change their sound from like what they originally were, and you know everybody's like, oh, you know, their old stuff was better, and that's always the case because that's what you found them on, you know, but
different.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's better. It's just like different. It's like who they started as, and now they've evolved as people, as musicians, and we get a different sound from them. But it's just because they're growing up along with us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's also a reason why we all are very akin to them, is because we're not too far off in age with them. So like Michelle and I have discussed this a million times. When Weightless came out, that was our senior year of high school, and that entire song just described my situation going into college.
All feelings about it. Like, you know, I was stuck in this town. I wanted to get out. I was ready to go on to college and move on.
Yeah, so there's
stuck
that.
in this fucking rut.
Somewhere in Neverland.
Yes. Then Somewhere in Neverland was our senior year of college, and we just openly cried when we heard it. I remember, and then I made your senior video to that song.
Still makes me cry.
And then for me, an extra layer, they came out with, oh my God, I'm blanking so hard. When I moved to Florida, I moved from Massachusetts to Florida, and they came out with 2017. It was on
Last Young Renegade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Good times.
Good times.
Yes, good times. Thank you.
And you know what's funny is
you said that too.
And that was the same thing for me, because I moved back to New Jersey from San Francisco, and for me it was like, I'll always have the good times that I had in San Francisco because I'm leaving now, you know? And so we had the same.
Me, it was like,
it's funny because me and Brianne had
like
the exact same experiences with these songs, and they grown up, and that's what I was trying to say before, is that, you know, whether you've stuck with them throughout, whether you found them now as their, you know, with their newer albums, or you just listen to their old stuff, I think All Time Low has just such a far-reaching audience. Like, I've been going to shows for years, and when I was 17, you know, it was all teenage girls and stuff, and you know, those teenage girls are still there, so they're constantly bringing in new people, and you know, it's just such a big community, I guess. You know, like their fans are incredibly loyal and like they love them, and like the Hustlers they're hardcore. I mean, I have a venue here in Jersey that they've done their like anniversary shows at, and Starland always gets like really like scared when it comes like time like for another album anniversary. They're like, okay, you've been asking us for about 1.5 years if they're gonna have an anniversary show. Guess what, they are.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's but yeah, like I said, they've got such a like a far-reaching spread, and I think that's why I love them, because like, you know, they're just relatable in every sense of the word. And maybe that's just my experience, but I think they're just relatable.
And I think their live shows are just like in their own breed. Like I mean, maybe it's because we love them so much and like we love every single song that's on a set list, but they're just so fun, and it's their personalities, and you see like Jack and Alex's like personalities come out when they're like performing together and all of that.
Meanwhile, the other two don't do anything.
But I love them so much. It doesn't matter. They could just stand and not even play their instruments, and I would love them.
But yeah, no, I completely agree, because for me, a live show is a lot of what, no, I wouldn't say makes or breaks, but you know, it definitely...
It takes your love to another level.
It adjusts my perspective on a band. Like, if they're not great live, I'm gonna love them anyways. But you know, it does take away from my experience, because I love going to concerts so much, because that's another way to experience the music you love, because you're experiencing it like communally. You know, everybody there is just as excited as you are. The air is like literally buzzing with, you know, anticipation, energy, excitement, and you know, you get to share that with just so many strangers, and you become friends, like even for the night, and you know, you just feel so much more connected to the band. And I think All Time Low really perpetuates that.
Totally.
Well, that was our quick little love homage, love poem, love whatever.
Love letter.
That was our love. I like that too. All Time Low. And you know, it's not always going to be people, like, we're not always going to talk about bands that we're like madly in love with, but
for the first episode, we're not even going to try to pretend.
We're not going to try to pretend that we aren't like completely obsessed.
Maybe we can tone it down.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah. So on to our next segment. And this segment's super important to us. We had it on the Mosh Pit when we did it as a radio station back in the day, as a radio show on a radio station back in the day. Concert fucking etiquette. Did we actually like do like a little song? Did I do like a fancy British voice to like introduce this?
Oh my god!
You did.
Yes. How could I forget that? Oh my god!
Hold on, let me try to bring it back.
Oh lord.
And now it's time for concert etiquette. Something like that? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like that.
And I do a terrible British accent, so it was
never really bad. No, it's really bad.
It's really bad. It was more like proper than quote unquote English.
Yeah. But so it's something that we think is really important. We were just talking about how, you know, going to a live show like really amplifies your love for a band, and you know, because you're sharing in this love of the band with so many people, and you need to not be an asshole so everybody enjoys the show. Our first ever as a podcast concert etiquette rule is pick people the fuck up, because we are the Mosh Pit.
I feel like you have to say that with like a clap, like pick people
the clap
up.
Emojis, like pick people up, motherfucker.
Yes,
exactly. Like you need to say it with the clap emoji or like a physical clap, but whatever you feel, just something needs to be in between those words.
And this topic is like especially big to me because literally Michelle saved my life at a show because she picked me up. And it wasn't even in a mosh pit. I was just trying to stand. And then, it was bad. Anyways, you can tell that story, Michelle, because basically what happened to me is I'm on the ground crying because I can't stand up and people are like stepping on my face.
So, it's very important when you're in a crowd because, you know, everybody's getting jostled even when you're not in the mosh pit, like sometimes the crowd moves, you lose your footing and people fall, and like it might not seem like a big deal, like getting stepped on, but if you're trampled by a few people, it's gonna be bad. And especially in a mosh pit, like it's just important to like, because then just bad things happen, and it ruins the whole vibe of the show when people get hurt, and we're, like I said, we're all there to enjoy the same thing, like we're in it together. And but yeah, like for example, like when Brianne fell, it was just like,
it was actually the all-time low show where we met Kelly, because then for the rest of the show, Kelly and I stood on the stairs because we didn't want to die.
Oh, yeah. So we were terrified. Yep.
But yeah, so it's important because like to be paying attention, because not everybody's gonna see when someone falls, so you have to go in as soon as you see someone and go for it. Like, and I don't know if it's just because I've gotten older and maybe like more maternal, but I get so much anxiety sometimes because I'm 28, and a lot of kids I see at shows, they're teenagers, and these might be some of their first shows they're going to, so they're not used to it, and I'm just always like,
I'm still not used to it.
I got you. Like, I'm always the one picking people up, and if someone sees someone picking someone else up, they're gonna help, and then that just kind of stops and like helps people fix the situation. It's just super important just for people not to get hurt.
True. Yeah, I feel like it's the rule, whatever that psychology thing is, where since there's so many people around, you expect someone else will kind of take action.
It's the bystander effect.
Exactly.
But you can't let that get to you. Like, if you see someone fall, be that person that goes and helps them.
For sure. So that is this episode's concert etiquette.
That was not good.
No, it was not good at all.
That wasn't as good as the first one.
I'll work on it, guys. I'll get better. And so, to end the show, because, we've talked about a lot of bands that you might know, and bands that are popular and things, so we like to, let people discover new things. So for me,
and help us discover new things.
Exactly. Like, so I was kind of almost, for a good few years, I was almost anti-new music, because I'm like, no, I don't like anything, but I never was really giving stuff a chance. And then I actually, I think it was...
I know exactly what it was. It was State Champs and Neck Deep.
Yeah.
You found both of them on Spotify.
I think it might have been the Pop Punk's Not Dead playlist. Yeah, it was them. And because I saw that they were going on tour, and I'd been hearing a lot about them, so I was like, you know what, let me give them a chance. And I fell in love with both bands. I now have a Neck Deep tattoo. And I went to see them, and yeah, they're one of my favorites. They're two of my favorites now. And so yeah, I think we get stuck in our nostalgia and our love for certain bands, but expanding our knowledge of bands is always great, especially like if helping out local bands too, like the band we're going to talk about today, Blind Choice, I actually saw open up for Patent Pending in Pennsylvania. And they are from Pennsylvania. I forget what town, but they're super young. They're around like 19-ish, I think. Blind Choice. I introduced Kelly and Bree to them. So I like them a lot. I thought they had a very Green Day vibe, in my opinion.
I did feel that, yeah.
Yeah,
I did get that vibe.
Yeah, Green Day vibe. So it was really cool. And it was like, I was talking earlier about how like what modern pop punk is, what it is to me at least, and that's State Champs and Neck Deep, that kind of vibe. This had more of a classic pop punk vibe, again, like a Green Day and whatever. Maybe because I saw them live, they have so much energy, and I was just sitting there excited about this band that I'd never heard. And that's also why I like going early to shows, because I like to see openers. But it was just the energy. The drummer is just adorable. Like, it's funny because I made a joke when I saw them that back in the day I used to like fall in love with band members. Now I'm like, I just want to adopt them. They're so cute.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so
how times have changed.
Yeah, right? I've started listening to them, and I really enjoy them. I get Brianne and Kelly's opinions that they will now share, But I'm a fan, and I think they're gonna go places. So blind choice, give them a listen, and let us know at the Moshpit Pod, Facebook and Instagram, what you think, and if you agree with me or with you guys. Which, go ahead and explain your thoughts.
Your
I'll
hot.
go next. I feel like
Kelly.
I feel like I have a middle ground between both of your opinions. So I'll start with what I didn't like was I think the vocals need some development, but I didn't know they were only 19.
Yeah.
So I see that probably improving a lot, but I loved the kind of like heavy rock feel to all the instrumentals and the couple songs I took a listen to. And then there was one part of, do you remember what song it was? With the,
I Don't Exist.
Was it that one with the
ooh?
with the background, the background?
No,
well,
it's Balance on the Floor. I thought you liked.
Oh.
Yeah. One of those had a really cool little riff in the background, and I loved it. I thought that was really cool. Something like that is always fun live to like sing along to and stuff like that.
I take my opinions with a grain of salt, because I also was a bad co-host and I did not listen to them until about 10 minutes before we started recording the podcast. So I only got to like skim through a couple of their songs. I will say the instruments and all of the music I do like. I just can't get behind this guy singing. He sounds like a whiny what's his face from Yellow Card. I can't think of his name.
Ryan Key.
Yeah, he sounds like a whiny Ryan Key. Like,
Such a hard ass.
It's not bad. It just I don't know.
It's not your cup of tea.
Yeah.
See, I don't hear him whiny. I think he's got a very like smooth vocal, and maybe obviously like I said, they're young. They probably have a ton of room for improvement. I mean, all time low. We're definitely they were far from perfect when they were young, but we love them anyway. So I definitely think that they've got like tons of potential. So I 5 out of 5 recommend. So that's all we've got for you today.
If you guys want to send us things we should listen to for bands discoveries, feel free to shout us out at our social media at the Moshpit Pod on Facebook and Instagram.
Yes. And, if you like what you're hearing, come back and, tell us what you want to hear, because we're open to feedback and constructive criticism. Don't be mean, because we'll cry.
No, not even that. It
I'm
goes
just
back
kidding,
to the
no.
concert etiquette. Don't be a dick. There's no reason for it. Just be like, hey, you guys could fix this, and we'll be like, cool. But
Thanks,
don't be
bruh.
like, you sound dumb. Like, that doesn't help anyone.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like your constructive criticism about the blind choices whininess.
Oh, that's okay. You know what? You're right. I take it back. It's just not my cup of. I didn't want to be. You know what? Yeah, I'll drink that humble tea real quick.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'll say that if he could like, because there are parts where he doesn't sound whiny. It's just the parts where he does like the elongated notes. I'm just like, oh no, stop. So if he can work on that, that is just that part. I think he can do better.
From the expert musical ear of Brianne.
Who's never taken a musical class in my entire life. Actually, no, I took chorus in 7th and 8th grade, so...
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That kind of counts.
Alright, guys. Well, it has been real. It has been fun. It has been real fun. We will see you next time on The Mosh Pit. Thanks so much for listening. And don't forget to follow us at The Moshpit Pod on Facebook and Instagram. Rock on!
Bye!
Rah.